I'm sure you've heard me mention at some point in time working on your business or working in your business. And we need to get the balance right between those two. And if I was to say, I think most of you need to increase the amount of time you're working on the business. In other words, you're working on the future, on your plans, on the projects, on the strategies that will make a difference. Maybe or maybe not today, but on the long-term basis. The challenge with real estate, more than potentially any other business, it will take whatever in time you give it. So you give your business 12 hours in time per day, it'll only want 14. So I would recommend you've got to put the on time in first. And this is the meeting flow that will help you dramatically advance your results. So let's actually step back for a moment from the day-to-day. Yes, we know we've got a weekly team meeting. We know we've got sales meetings and property management meetings. We've got team huddles and so on going on. And all of these meetings have a very simple format of review and preview. So we're going to leave the day-to-day and the weekly meetings and head to the bigger picture, which is the on meetings and how you're developing and working with your team and working with the business. And this is that fundamental strategy that we have within the network, and that is, if you're not working on your business, then who is? Now, of course, we're working on your business behind the scenes, but ultimately, on a day-to-day basis, where the rubber hits the road, are you putting enough time on your business and on what needs to happen versus just working in it? So the strategy is for you, first of all, to have a big picture working on the business strategy. Now, the good news is, as a network, we provide a lot of opportunities for that. And throughout the year, whether it be a Gold Club, a business workshop, whether it be Principal Bootcamp or Coach the Coach or Business of Real Estate or Principal Advance or the Growth Plan Workshop, all of those are designed to help you work on the business. Coming out of those, though, is for you to say, okay, what are the priorities? What are the things that are going to make the biggest difference for me that I need to put into play? So in terms of meeting flow, I believe you need to have at least one day session per year where you, maybe with a few of your leaders, step away from your business, head off to a resort or a beach house or a holiday house and start to say, let's have a look at the bigger picture. And once again, that format, let's review the year that was and preview what it is we want to achieve next year. Great. So we've worked out what are the key priorities and the key things to focus on. Let's now come back to a 90-day plan. What do we need to do in this first quarter to help us build amazing momentum? Now, the great news is there's a master growth plan tool that's available to you to utilize to help you in that planning process. What's our focus? What are the key priorities for the year? How are we going to grow the business? What's the leadership upgrades we need to put in place to build some momentum? Key projects, quick wins, and so on to help us build that momentum for this particular quarter. And also some KPIs. What are the KPIs that are going to make a difference? Now, that might sound a lot of planning compared to what you're used to, but what it allows us to do is to chime in and check in with you and say, are you on track or are you off track? One of the reasons a lot of leaders don't plan in real estate is if they don't have a plan, they can't be held accountable. Well, we do want to hold you accountable. You've chosen to be a member of the network for a reason. You want to produce better results. And those better results are going to come from a very focused plan being implemented sensationally well in a focused way. So that annual meeting where we step back from the day-to-day, look at the bigger picture and see how are we going with this. The next meeting is the quarterly meeting. And that quarterly meeting might be a half day, and we start to look at reflecting on the last quarter and planning and mapping into the next quarter. So effectively, your meeting flow is really, really simple. A chunky annual meeting, what do we want to achieve? By the way, if you feel you need more than one day, then great, invest a couple of days working on your business. Keep in mind, a lot of our leaders within the network, what they do is they come to the Growth Plan Workshop, which is typically late November, early December. That's a fantastic planning time to reflect on the year that was and map into next year, and then do one day privately with your particular team after that. Once you've got your plan organised, then in January, share your plan with your team. Do a launch session, end of January, early Feb, and say, here's what we're committed to for the year. Here's what I'm standing for, what we're up to, what we want to make happen in this particular year. When we put those things in place, it makes a huge difference. And then on a quarterly basis, let's do a review and a preview. What have we achieved? What are we putting into place? Now, the tip on this one, You need to schedule these meetings in advance. Why? I've seen great leaders say, that's a great idea, yes, I'm going to do it. And then you get 4 months down the track and you haven't had a review time. It's not because you didn't want to, it's just because they weren't scheduled. So get them into your schedule. And by the way, if they need to change, don't delete them, move them until the day before, the day after, the week before, or the week after. But please, please, please put these steps in place. The more time you work on your business, the greater momentum you'll have. And I'll often say that when you're working on your business, you're looking for an exponential improvement in your results. When you're working in the business, you'll have an incremental improvement in your results. So we need to get the right balance between in and on in such a way that you're advancing and you're innovating and you're developing your business in a major way. The great news is, come to Principal Advance, you actually have this fantastic innovation session where you've got these innovations coming at you that you can pick, choose and hone what's relevant for your marketplace. And remember, when you start to put a plan together, once you know what you want to achieve, the next question is, well, who in the network has already done that I can tap into and learn from? So I don't need to invest the 3 months or the 6 months or the 50 grand or the 20 grand or the $10,000 in something that may not work. You can start to advance that dramatically based on your network membership. So thanks very much for tuning in, and please enjoy getting your meeting flow sorted. Lock and load those meetings and then build some momentum. By the way, on the knowledge base, you'll see some agendas for those meetings. So if you need a hand with that, we're happy to support you in making sure you're putting the right things into play. Why? The right things in those meetings, the right items on the agenda will create the best momentum about moving your business forward. Thanks for tuning in.